Jacinta, you've had some experience with protesters making an actual injustice and an actual sincere call for justice all about them. Tell us a little bit about that experience that happened to you last year.
So following the police shooting death of my nephew out at Yuendamu last year, the local rent-a-protester crowd, if you like, decided to stage a protest at the front of the police station. Complete strangers. These were complete strangers who did this. And, having a go at our police force, which is also made up of Indigenous men and women, and calling them racist for one particular instance where this had taken place, it was not beneficial. A lot of our people rely on our police force to support them, particularly as such that the majority of Indigenous people that are killed by other people are killed outside of custody, and usually by our own family members, those that are closest to them. And so a good relationship between us and our police is very important. And also my nephew who was killed, his uncle is a police officer at Yuendamu, at the community of Yuendamu as well. So my mother and I went to the police station to ask these protesters to not hijack this situation and make it all about them and their cause, and about Black deaths in custody. This was my nephew. And what people don't realise is that in traditional terms, I am most definitely an authority to speak on this particular issue in relation to my nephew. And I was utterly disrespected. I was yelled at by other local Aranda women and protesters who wanted to make this all about them and a cause that they were pushing for. And there were a lot of people who decided to hijack this situation, including other Warlpiri people who are not in fact related, because that for 15 minutes they can have a limelight. And there's all kinds of issues that can arise from this situation. For example, things like compensation if there's been wrongdoing. My fear is that there'll be those who will be fighting for compensation, who are wanting there with their hand out, when they don't have any right to whatsoever, and aren't in fact closely related enough. But there's a whole raft of issues going on, and similar to what's happened in Minnesota, the fact that 80% of the population there is African American, yet 60% of the protesters were white. And we have the same issue here in Alice Springs. We have, it's become an industry where white protesters have their cause that they want to push, and they will use other Indigenous people to push that cause. And if they've got an Aboriginal person standing beside them, they can point to them and say, "Oh, look, this is so and so, and they're part of this, and we're doing this for you." And it's disgusting. It's exploitation of disadvantaged people.
Oh, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something.